What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Seven Figure CEO Show. Today, we're going to go super deep for coaches, consultants, service providers to max out their calendar with the number one thing they're probably not doing, where you might be getting a lot of leads, but we're actually going to be talking about how you can turn those into book calls with really simple systems. Here today with Dana Derricks. Dana, welcome.
Hey, good to see you again, man. Thanks for having me.
My first question for you is that you've gone deep down the rabbit hole with masterminding with Alex Harmozy and Russell Brunson. You dove deep into the Dream 100 strategy about when we met about 6 years ago. I remember that's all you were talking about. And now you're diving in deep into follow up, actually, the owner of followup.com. What made you go that direction with diving deep into re-engagement and follow-up systems?
So, long story short, I had a reasonably successful business. I kind of planted my flag as a dream hunter guy for several years. And in a few years ago, about 3 years ago, I sold that business and was kind of done and ready to move on. And I took a couple of years off, kind of halfway off, had some client work or whatever kept me in, but um, had young kids. And I just took a lot of time to reflect on like what I went from like, if you ever felt this way, like scurrying around, like playing whack-a-mole, like toppling over as many dominoes as you can on the board, and at the end you have a ton knocked over, right? But as I matured, I started thinking like, what if I just hit like a few and get the same result, or even maybe better? So I just really thought about and listed out like, what have I all the stuff I've done over the years? And what really was the biggest domino? And I
Mm,
came to the conclusion, it was very clear that like follow up
mm,
was the number one thing, the biggest lever that I've seen in 16 years. So all the things that I did for my own business, and then especially for clients, um, that was it. So
mm.
I divinely had an opportunity to acquire the domain name followup.com. There was a ton of like hard to do. And was very expensive. We're talking, six-figure investment. So um, I went all in and I'm currently all in and super excited about it. But that's kind of the backstory what
Mm.
got me into it.
Yeah, and I second this entirely. I always tell the clients that are coming in working with us, you probably have another 6 or 7 figures in your pipeline right now. They just need to be re-engaged with. So I'm curious about with your system. it, are you talking about automated follow-up and manual follow-up? What do you actually mean, and what do you recommend to coaches, agencies, and service providers? How do they do a better job with re-engaging all the leads that they're probably getting right now?
Yeah. So what I like to do is what we call leveraged follow-up. So it's semi-automated, but it comes across as if it's one-to-one personal to that, recipient.
Mm,
And it can be done at scale. So ideally, the best, if you think about some of the best businesses that are the really terrific at follow-up, we're talking about like dental clinics or like the top producing insurance agents or realtors, right? But the problem for them is like they're doing it all on their phone and they cannot scale past like where most of them. But they do such a terrific job, right? Think of the best ones. They're really on top of it. Uh, so I basically what we do is we take that personable approach because they're texting their lead directly. They may be sending, if the advanced ones are sending a video, but they're calling to confirm appointments, et cetera. They're doing all the stuff that your follow-up needs to be doing, but they're doing
mm,
it one to one. So we just take that concept and we apply it in a one-to-many way, and we provide tools and a system to do
mm,
it leveraged and at scale without it coming across that way.
mm,
Um,
mm.
yeah, so that's kind of the zoomed out way we look at it.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. So they come in, probably get phone number, email, name. does an AI system do an internet search of things about them? And then is the follow-up personalized through email or text, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so we are, I would say, as far as like the advancement goes of AI taking stuff over completely, we're probably about like 50% as
Mhm.
advanced as like the most advanced. So we do that intentionally because we do think there still should be a human aspect to it. And right now, I guess as far as that, like the you would call that like lead enrichment, right? So you're finding out like the old-fashioned ways to go search them up, pull up their profiles, see what you can find in common, etc., right?
Mhm.
I mean, you just showed me an impressive button that you put together that did that
Mhm.
on me, right? And in 3 seconds, and you're like, hey, is this accurate? Is this accurate? I'm like, yep, yep, yep.
Mhm.
So there is a component of that, absolutely. And then what you do with it from there is kind of like teach their own, but like we would do that type of thing for sure, and then put it into uh sort of like a profile that we build. And then we do
Mhm.
have humans that kind of manage it from there. We have systems and campaigns that go out automatically and follow up with leads, re-engage leads, et cetera,
Mhm.
et cetera. But at the end of the day, there's always like a human that's kind of manning the ship, so that if and when a conversation is gone to a place where they're become qualified or they're interested or whatever, humans can take over, because I think that ultimately still is not quite there. Like
Mhm.
AI, for some, maybe they can take it across the finish line, but
Yeah.
we're just kind of staying within that section of it.
Yeah, that's so helpful though. And I'm super curious about the AI profile that you create on them. What are the core categories of follow-up that you want to know on the lead? Is it psychographics? What are the core categories that the AI pools that's the most helpful for follow-up?
Yeah, so admittedly, like we as like mortals don't have access to all the data that would be so amazing that the big companies do. So we could do some crazy stuff if we did. But essentially what we look for is kind of like two things. It's qualification level. How qualified are you? And then what's your temperature? Like, how quickly do you need to solve this problem? And like, how good of a fit is our solution, right?
Mhm.
So if you're a match on the top two things there, like you'll be at the top of our priority list. And that's another thing with follow-up is
Mhm.
businesses struggle with prioritizing their follow-up. So they're following up with leads that they shouldn't
Mhm.
even be looking at when there's, it's like, dude, scoop the hundreds off the table. Stop looking for the dollars on the floor.
Yeah.
So that's another thing like that comes into it. But as far as like specific, I'm just trying not to be too general, but really it comes down
Yeah.
to in simplistic terms, uh, how qualified are you? And then how quickly? What's your temperature? Those are our two big things.
That's great. And I want to double tap on if everybody's important, nobody's important, and really organizing your pipeline in a way that you are focused and your team is focused, their time, energy, attention on those highest quality, hottest temperature prospects. Because that's a big shift that a lot of our clients have when they come in. We have them create a hot list right away of their prospects. And then it's like, holy crap, I didn't know I had this much in my pipeline. And just like with your service with follow-up, it's hitting those people up that are the highest quality. So I love that we're pulling on that thread. Um, I'm super curious around your story around the Dream 100, if you're cool with that, and curious about if you're doing this with following up with a Dream 100 list. So, why did you get started with the Dream 100 list, and what results did you get out of it? And are you using follow up for reaching out to potential partners and all of that?
Awesome question. So long story short, so probably like 12 years ago, I read a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine by a guy named Chet Holmes. In one of the
Mhm.
chapters, he basically laid out the Dream 100. I think he invented it, I believe. Um, and or at least he coined the phrase for it. Dream hunting has been happening since humans existed. It's like, hey, go to that guy. He's got the goods. Okay. Um, so then what do? You schmooze that guy to get the goods you want, right? So, long story short, yeah. So I read that book, like changed my life because I'm like, oh, there's a name for the thing that I've been doing, right? I've been just naturally been doing it without really knowing or having a lot of intention behind it. So
Mhm.
one thing led to the next. Um, Russell Brunson kind of brought it mainstream and popularized the term. And then I just kind of took it to the next level, got really obsessed about it, created a line of products around it. And so that led to much of my success, at least in sort of the funnel world or the internet marketing world for what,
Mhm.
whatever that is. And it really comes down to, for those that are not familiar with it, the concept is this: you give value without an expectation or a condition set to get anything in return. And if you do that enough times, you're never really going to get much more than you put out. So now the only difference there with, or how this specifically comes to Dream 100, is you just create an intentional list of people that you do that for.
Mhm. Mhm.
That just makes sense. So you kind of scratch their back and hope they, scratch yours. And if they don't, that's okay too. Um, so yeah, so that then putting that into the follow-up piece, absolutely. Like finding a Dream 100, creating a Dream 100 list and doing the active Dream 100ing doesn't
Mhm.
work without follow-up, because if anything, it's outbound. They didn't come to you for something. You just really have to work them and give them lots of value and then continue to stay in their world. And one of the best tips I can give anybody, and it goes hand in hand with follow-up, is like buy their stuff. There's so many
Mhm.
times that people would approach us and first thing we do is we look at, are they in the system? Like, who are you? Right? And if you're like not a buyer, even if it's just a book or something small, become a customer. And yeah, following up with your Dream 100 list is a must. And yeah, we absolutely do it. And everybody that's successful in their Dream 100 is definitely following up well.
I love it. We double down on partnerships. I love your definition of just giving value with expecting nothing in return. You do that enough times and it will happen. What has been the most powerful connection that you've made from your Dream 100 list, from like starting 10 or 15 years ago to now? What is that number one connection that you've made with that list?
Oh boy. So you want like a name or?
I mean, if you feel comfortable sharing their name, but the story behind it would be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's some really cool. I'll give you honorable mentions, right? Like, and I
Mhm.
have no business being in the same room as them. But like I met Alex Hormozy when he was broke and before he was married to Layla.
Mhm.
And I had a lot of time spent with him along his journey upward. So like that is just incredibly fortunate, and it wouldn't happen without Dream 100 and a lot of luck. So like that, providing lots of value, and then joining a mastermind and dream on hunting that way. And then like you and I just looked at your Instagram. We both spoke at an event in Chicago a
Mhm.
few years back, and we got pictures with Damon John, got to rub shoulders with Damon John for an afternoon. That's
Mhm.
pretty awesome, right? Wouldn't have happened without Dream 100ing. So specifically, we like asked you, myself, and the guy I was co-hosting with, we asked you to speak for a reason, right? Because you're a valuable speaker. So, but I guess my home run, like ultimate
Mhm.
Super Bowl of Dream 100ing would be Russell Brunson. Um,
Mhm.
boy, there's so many different stories, but I'll give you like, so I read .com Secrets, his kind of first really popular book, and it changed my whole perspective on marketing. I was like, oh, everything makes sense now. Wow. And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try ClickFunnels, and I was one of the first users. And then I'm like, wow, I've just made more money off this. So I'm like, what's next? And then all of a sudden, oh, there's an inner circle. You can join a mastermind, right? So I sent a one-way wire, 25 grand, to Boise, Idaho back in the day to join his inner circle. And little did my wife know that that was like all of our money. So, um, long story short, I joined, didn't really know how I was going to make that back. So I did what I knew to do and just gave value to everybody in the inner circle. One of those people in there ended up being Alex Hormozy. Another one in there was Myron Golden. Another one in there, Dan Henry. The Dave Lindenbaum. The list goes on. It's like internet marketing, like royalty almost before they became huge.
Mm.
So it all hinges upon, and by the way, like 6 months later, I got my first two Comic Club award. And right after I got off stage, I sat next to my wife and I'm like, by the way, Becca, I didn't tell you this, and but I spent all of our money to join this mastermind. But it's worth it now, right? She's like,
Russell's good with that.
yeah. But man, I can't tell you how many times that relationship with Russell has paid off. Like he was so gracious to ask me to come speak at Funnel Hacking Live in front of 5,000 plus people. Um, he came and spoke at one of my events, Dream Hunter Con. Just endless examples of how that paid off, and it wouldn't work. I'll tell you this right now. There are other people that have joined his mastermind that would to this day say, oh, that wasn't worth it. And the difference between them and I is they provided zero value to that mastermind.
Mhm. Yes, 100% double tap on that. Every mastermind that I have joined, that I have gone all in with and provided value to, people have turned into team members, into JV partners, into clients, and not just in the time I was in that mastermind, but after as well. And I totally resonate with that. Definitely join masterminds and provide value to the members in there. Um,
Let me ask you though. Sorry, I don't want to throw
sure,
you
go
off here.
ahead. No, this is
I
conversation.
would love to know your what's your number one Dream and Heart example?
Oh, number one Dream 100 example. I think the most valuable one was when I was getting started. Um, it was with Josh 40. He had a 30,000 person Facebook group back in the day. This was 2017. And I was trying to grow my Facebook group. I was really into many chat bots at the time, and I reached out to him, didn't know him at all, and I was like, "Hey, can I build out a many chat bot for you?" And he was like, "Heck yeah!" And I was still living with my parents in 2017. I remember chugging white monsters in my parents' basement all nighter to build out that many chat bot to have a big turnaround time. And I added some of his products and services in there, and I gave him some posts that he could put up in his Facebook group to monetize it. And he did that, and he made money from it. And he was like, "You want to come in and do an interview in front of my group and joint venture your many chatbots," which I had a funnel at the time where you could buy templates of the many chatbots. And I'm like, "Heck yeah." He's like, "We'll go 50-50." I'm like, "Sweet." And we did that interview. And there were, man, back in the day with Facebook groups and Facebook Lives, there were like 200 people on live. And I don't think that's possible today in most groups. But we ended up doing 20K and splitting that 50-50. And I had 250 people join my Facebook group. And I don't know where I would be without that initial JV partnership with Josh 40. It really got
Dude.
everything off the ground.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And it like validated probably all the like effort you were putting into stuff and you finally got that like signature win, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, it was the turning point to me gaining momentum as an entrepreneur online. And I didn't have it before that, and then it was a big boost.
Yeah.
Probably like with you after joining Russell's mastermind. But that's all we're looking for as entrepreneurs. It's that momentum.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Heck yeah. Good for you. That's awesome.
Thank you. And I'm curious about the people that you met in Russell's mastermind. What was the process of maybe one specific instance of providing value and then taking that to a partnership or getting more clients and growing the business through one of those Dream 100 people on your list?
Yeah, so one of the parts that people sometimes struggle with dream and hunting is um, one of the critical pieces to get your ROI, and that is to ask. So people do this part wrong.
Mm,
Half, not everybody. I'd say a third of people ask when they shouldn't. And those are the people you see all the time spamming you and asking for favors, even though they've provided you no value. A
mhm,
third of the people never ask at all, which doesn't
mhm,
help them. And then a third of the people do it right and ask at the appropriate time.
mhm,
So that's part that you guys have to think about and figure out. And I just tell people it's like getting married. Have you gone on enough dates and done enough, provide enough value to know that when you get on your knee, she's going to say yes?
mhm,
Okay, now it's time to ask. If you haven't, do more value. And if you never ask, someone else may. So you better ask. Uh,
mhm.
so long story short, I think the guy that comes to mind is Myron Golden. So for those that aren't familiar, he's probably one of the greatest um, stage closing
Absolute
stage
legend,
closers
and his
ever.
YouTube channel is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what a wise human being. I mean, humbled and honored to be around him even.
Mhm,
So when we joined together, I got so lucky that these guys were like coming in at the same time as me before they blew up.
mhm,
So he was basically trying to replicate what he was doing from stage in a small sort of scale so incredibly well
mhm,
onto the internet. And I think he quickly identified like that I knew the internet in a way that would be really helpful to him. And then I identified he knows how to close deals like a madman. So that's super valuable to me. And then
mhm,
long story short, what that kind of led to is just you start small, you give a value here and there, you get on a call, see how you can help each other without, making it one-sided. Um,
yep,
so usually what I would do, because my background is a copywriter, so I would just throw some copy their way. They'd be blown away, blah, blah, blah. I'd ask for nothing in return. And then eventually what it kind of snowballs into is how can you help each other? And so long story short, uh, I joined Myron's speaking uh, training, which, that's another thing is you can't be afraid of investing while you're dreaming harding too. So joined that, was a star student, uh, and closed, $250,000 from stage, which like totally blew my mind. Never thought that was possible. And then I had Myron as a hired gun to come and help close deals. And um, the ROI for both of us was just so tremendous because we just knew at a like it just kept like the ante kept upping. It's like we're gonna keep helping each other, but instead of it, being a little bit here, like it's like you and 40, if you guys would have kept going, maybe you did. And
mhm.
maybe to this day, that
We
10K
almost
looking back
became
and
business partners at one point. Yeah, it just keeps going up and going up.
yeah, exactly. And kind of inevitably, that's where it will end up if you don't, if something doesn't, happen where you guys go in a different way or pause it. But that's kind
Mhm.
of where that leads to. So I'd be mindful of that too, is like when you're dream 100 from the beginning, is like, um, who would benefit the most from being a partner of mine and vice versa. So
Agreed. Um, And switching gears here, because we talked a lot about Dream 100 and getting more high quality traffic without ads coming our way. We talked a little bit about follow up, but I want to go deeper into that. Specifically, we've got the AI. We know more about them. We're organizing our pipeline where we have the quality and the temperature of the leads and prospects. What is the follow-up cadence? What are some elements that the listeners here need to think about in re-engaging with those leads? Um, and I'll start with the questions there. So, what's the cadence, and what do they need to think about as business owners in re-engaging with the leads that are in their pipeline right now?
absolutely. So first of all, you need to be using a CRM. If you aren't already. And if you are
Mhm,
using one, you need to fully optimize it so that all of the features are being used. And
mhm,
also you need to kind of probably figure out if that CRM is right for your business or not. because I do see in my line of work quite often that, you know, most many clients come to us with a like really poorly built go high level and think
Mhm.
that that's a CRM. And it's like, guys, that's not a CRM. You are not using it as a CRM, and um, there's serious work to do to get it to where it needs to be. So first of all, just like that's step one. Before you do anything, get on a CRM because otherwise you're going to compound your problem. Whatever bottleneck you're facing, because you can't leverage your follow-up now, is going to get worse because you're not fixing the actual foundational issue, which is get on a CRM that is good for you and your business.
Mhm.
Next, to go work the pipeline, um, it depends on, so first of all, you can't be afraid to reach out to your leads. That's something people get hung up on. So like just go, reach out to them. They see 7 bazillion ads a day. You'll be the 7 bazillion and first. Okay, no problem. And if just send stuff compliantly, they click a button and they're gone. That's fine. Like that's what will happen. So you're not going to upset people or whatever terrible thing you think is going to happen by following up with your leads. The only terrible thing that's going to happen is someone else is going to, and then you're going to miss out. So, um,
Mhm.
and then as far as some specific tactics, like with the follow-up cadence. So first of all, there's no like right specific way or timelines on stuff. It's just like I'd rather, because people ask me like, should I do a webinar on Thursday or Tuesday? And it's like, I don't care, just do the webinar. That's more important to just
Mhm.
do the webinar. So
Done is better than perfect. You
yeah, amen.
come
So
and
there
do
you go. So,
it.
so that's your cadence. Get it done.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you, multi-channel is a must. So you can't just send email drips and expect to make it all work. Like you have to email, you have to text message, you have to call, you have
Mm.
to send DMs and social if that's part of it. You have to send direct mail, whatever it is. So like also as an aside, make your lifetime value higher so it can justify all of this action.
Yeah.
Um, because if you're going after a $25 e-commerce client, maybe not. But
Yeah.
and another thing that just big, like as a fractional CMO that's works for huge name brands in this space,
Mhm.
text your leads. Like text people. That is right now the hottest thing that works incredibly well. And I don't know if if companies are scared to do it or
Yeah.
if they don't know how to do it, think it's too hard, or that they can't do it. It's just like blows my mind.
Yeah.
Text your leads.
Yeah, and to double tap on that, especially in the coaching or agency space, get the phone number. That is so much more valuable than an email with texting, outbound dialing.
Amen. And
Yeah.
if I could take a time out and like literally everybody pause this episode, go to your opt-in forms right now, click the button to add the phone number field. And you should probably, not legal advice, but probably put the opt-in language as well, so
Yeah.
that you're compliant. But the point is, man, I can't tell you how many times I'll see, yeah, like you just pointed out, of an opt-in page that only has a name and an email. And I guess part of their argument would be, well, um, less people will fill out the form.
Mhm.
Great. That's like weeding out, right? The tire kickers or the
Even
fake.
if it's 30 or 40% less, I value a phone number 4 or 5x, maybe even more than just an email address.
Yep,
So I
absolutely.
love
I'm with you.
that you mentioned that, man. So in terms of keeping everything organized, it sounds like you follow-up works across different CRMs, right? Go high level, close, what have you. Um, and is there scraping, AI scraping, where they can find their social medias based on their email and phone number, or how does that work? I'm just random.
Yeah,
I'm curious
they're
about.
getting better. I mean, even like Close just rolled out a feature where you click a button and it'll enrich the lead. So basically it'll go and
Mm,
pull whatever it can, and then throw it right in sort of like a cliff note of what it can find.
mhm,
Um, it's not, I mean, it's probably not to the point where it's like all usable in a hands-off way right now. It still needs human intervention, human eyes to sift through.
mhm.
But it's getting close. It's pretty cool what they're being able to do so far.
I love it, man. Um, was there anything that I didn't we covered a lot. We covered the Dream 100, getting super high quality leads and prospects, and also just growing your network, which helps you for the rest of your life here. Joining masterminds and just serving with your heart, expecting nothing in return. Talked about follow up, guys. Go to followup.com, learn more about it with Dana Derricks here, and the power of that in re engaging your pipeline and re engaging your leads. But is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you?
Hmm. Well, we found out, as a side note, we found out that your family lives like 15 minutes from me in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So that thought that was pretty cool. So I guess you should have asked like, well, what are the good places to eat around here?
Yeah, I think that, and tell us more about your goats and your goat mastermind. I think that's perfect.
Oh, this is actually pretty useful, guys. So, uh, I became kind of infamous in the internet marketing world for being a sort of a goat farmer that sort of like tripped and fell and ended up in the room with all of these really wicked smart geeky guys, computer guys. And so what that was is partially uh, a intentional action
Hmm.
where there's something called an attractive character. So I think everybody that's the face of their business or brand should figure out what their attracactive character is. So in
Hmm.
our like a great example of that, and then you kind of just go all in on it. So it's super easy to stand out in an internet marketing conference when you're wearing bib overalls and you're a farmer, right? So that really worked well for me. A guy that I think is a great example of this too is a guy named Garrett White. So
Hmm.
I think he's got like what's called Wake Up Warrior or something.
Yep.
Yeah. So I remember I was also in Russell's Inner Circle when he was beginning before Wake Up Warrior. And he was kind of a geeky guy before that. So he fully embodied this like kind of new attractive character, meaning he went from geeky guy to like full tats, like badass kind of look. And he has totally embodied that attractive character because that's what it is ultimately at the end of the day. So I would challenge everybody to find what that is and um, create some exciting like marketing around it and become as much of that as you can. And then you'll find people will like it, resonate with it, and kind of join you.
Yeah, I want to double click on that. I came by a quote the other day that says people don't buy coaching, they buy coaches. And it's part of that brand. Or people don't buy paid ads, they buy agencies. What is that brand for you that makes you stand out? Because we're mainly buying emotionally. And when we have a connection with that, like you and your overalls and being in Wisconsin, people can resonate with that. Or Garrett J. White, man, he is polarizing, but that is kind of where we want to be at. Um, and people are buying you or the agency and your brand. So love that.
And Andrew, like too, like think about this when you get off stage and people, come up to you and stuff, do they ever talk about the content or the awesome tactic or value bomb you just dropped? Or do they talk about that story that you shared and how they have a cousin that said or did, right? Like,
Yep. It's a story, or like sometimes a lot of times it's not even about business. It's about the breath work that I share on my social medias and building that personal brand and being unique to our identity.
heck yeah, man. And
Yeah.
that is ultimately what makes this whole experience really fun and fulfilling because it's not really about the X's and O's. At the end of the day, it's about the connection with the people. So
Mhm.
sky's the limit for how far we can take it.
Amen. That is a perfect place to put a pin in it. Guys, to take the next step, if you enjoyed this, and I always say the people in our life are our life, and getting exposed more to Dana's work, go to followup.com. he doesn't use Instagram, are there other places to connect with you?
Man, I think followup.com's probably the best. We'll give you guys a free audit since you're part of Andrew's world. And we'll see you over there.
Sweet. Check that out. And if you guys want to grab some free courses and join a community, join our school community with offers, marketing, sales, all that stuff. But Dana, thank you so much, man. And I'll get this episode up for you shortly.
Perfect. Thanks, man.
Cool. See ya.